There's a water jacket around it. Yes, well, why certainly it's liquid cooled. We're going to go over that. I'm going to start back here. I'm going to cool the motor because I'm going to generate heat. My TIPM has coolant lines in it. It's called the power electronics. My DC-DCs, all that stuff is water cooled. Okay? If you put a hole in this, guess what? You bought it. No matter if we warranty it or not. They won't take it back with a hole in the side of the water jacket.
How much is that in Amazon?
No, skis, electric vehicle parts. Retirement. Okay? So, yeah. Remember, we still haven't learned our lesson. Steel bolts, anodized steel through aluminum housing. That's going to be wonderful to take off. Okay? So this is my TIPM. Okay? So there's my drive shaft. All of this stuff here is the same. You guys know more about it than I do. Okay? No difference. Just that it's a T drive. Okay? This part here is replaceable, so in case somebody screws it up or whatever, you don't have to replace the motor. At one time it was, okay? So that's this end of it, okay? TIPM, motor, cooling, coming back up here. S-box belongs up here in the top, okay? And then the high voltage distribution module. Then I'm gonna take my power out of here, and I'm gonna run it back up here to that thing right there. Up here is a high voltage distribution unit with a bunch of connections on it, and that's what's going to drive my air pump, my air compressors, things like that. Okay? Here is the tankless water heater in this area. Up here is the torpedo type 1. Okay? On and on and on. We're going to drop the hood here eventually if somebody drops it down. Any questions on any of the components underneath here? Here's what a battery stack looks like. There is no splash shields or anything on this. This is just open to road damage. Okay? The second thing is here's your fittings to use the coolant management tool system to fill it or drain it. Okay? The other side of it here is my battery thermal management system that heats and chills the battery, and that's the only two-wire high voltage cable right there to it. So it doesn't take much high energy to run, you know what I'm saying? Because there's an inverter in there also. Okay? It's kind of hilarious. You know, when we showed you the VCU, that VCU is also in this one. It's a Bosch 92-pin control module that we use in our trucks all over. It's just a generic pig. It can be used anywhere. Okay? 92-pin Bosch inside there. So again, there's that. Looks like you got Humphrey valves on here, things like that. Air brakes are all yours. So if somebody, one of the people, if you can lower it so we could look underneath the hood and point some things out. Kinda. This is the 2-in-1 inverter. Okay? Behind you. This gets direct power. Again, if it's an inverter, it flashes back and forth. So that's going to drive my air compressor and my power steering pump. If you happen to look at the power steering pump and the AC, it's the same gut package as the motor, except for this has a pump on it, and the other one has 2 air compressors on it. I have a VCU, an SCU, a radiator fan control module. Of course, I'm lying to you. Only God knows why we put a radiator. The fans, there you go. They're on and off. there's no high speed, there's no low speed. They're either on or off. I just think the module had to be online so we could talk to it CAN-wise. You know what I mean? That's all. The fans come on, the fans go off. Okay? This is the 2-in-1 inverter. On a school bus, this was made by a company in China called Quansing. Okay? Even though it says Hyconics on it, so in the wiring diagram, they're going to call it the QXC. That's just a short-term name for 2-in-1 inverter. Now, if you look at a medium-duty truck, it'll say it's a 2-in-1 inverter. There's 3 places in here for this to convert voltage. We're only using 2. The reason that we thought it was going to be a 3-level, because we thought we were going to drive the AC unit off of it. We're not. Okay? The AC unit, well, wait till we get there. We'll talk about it. So with that, so I got the 2-in-1 inverter here. Underneath this is the 2 onboard battery chargers. Hate the name. They just control charging. And then underneath that, way in the bottom, is the tankless water heater for the unit. And that is the only heater that's available in California. The diesel-fired heater and everything in other states that are used are not allowed in California, because with a diesel-fired heater, you're not zero emissions. So this is basically what we call the front stack, okay? You will use a cross lifting bar that lifted up the batteries to hook to these 4 points here if you have to remove it, but you have to move them in. This is the high voltage distribution unit. It's not the intelligent box. It's just got relays, and it does whatever the VCU and the 8s tell them to do. It's just relays and fuses. The high voltage distribution module is the smart one, okay? We have PDMs over here, power distribution. Power steering reservoir takes 1 gallon of fluid. This power steering pump runs continuously at about 1,000 RPM. The AC runs, or just 1,500 RPMs. The air brake compressor runs at 1,000. Okay? There is no repair to it. You have a problem, it's replaced. The other side of the issue is anything else, the steering gear, it's the same as what the bus is before. Brakes, steering, it's just a regular same old setup. Okay? So the only thing different here is just the electric pump. Go ahead.
I have a question about the type of coolant being used, the Freon, or no, of refrigerant, and refrigerant separate, but the coolant, is this you can use any standard antifreeze?
No.
Fleet Right Red.
Fleet Right Red,
Has
correct.
to be specifically for this bus.
All 3 systems use Fleet Right Red Note. Okay? Nitrogen-free organic acid technology or additive technology, whatever you want to call it.
So we have to get its designated antifreeze for this bus.
The same way with the AC, you have to use a PEG oil that is non-conductive if you're working with the AC.
And it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, with the special oil.
Right.
Okay.
No.
The PEG.
No. Yeah, it's 134.
It's 134 or 1234A?
No, 134. We did not switch over to the synthetic propane.
Okay.
A 1234 RY.
Yeah.
RF.
Yeah, it's still 134.
134, correct.
Okay.
So that here, these are only 7-pound radiator caps. Okay? So the 7-pound radiator caps on here, one is for cabin heat, the other is for power electronics. Power electronics is only cooled by the radiator. The battery thermal management system is self-contained. It only cools or heats the batteries. That's it. Okay? Power electronics, again, has a surge tank, 7-pound cap. The engineering spec is for every pound that it raises the boiling temp by 3 degrees. So it doesn't, the overheat on this, in Ski's opinion, from what I read or what I should teach from, is about 180. Anything around 180, it starts to overheat. Okay, derate, that kind of stuff. Okay, again, red antifreeze only. Okay, has coolant level sensors in it, things like that. I got red cables up here, that means that they're battery cables. And then we got the box over here. Can we open those up? For my short 12 volt, here's my high voltage. Yeah, don't get me started there either. You think you can put a label here that says high voltage battery disconnect? I still don't see it.
Well, that was a recall. Yep.
You know what I mean? We've asked for identification labels on everything.
Yeah.
You know, high voltage distribution module, they go, why?
Orange cables going
You
to
know,
it.
I go, because this is all new stuff.
Why didn't they put orange cables going to it?
What?
Why didn't they put orange cables going to it?
Where is there's orange cable?
No, why didn't they? That'd have been enough.
Yeah. Because this just is really a 12 volt switch on the high voltage side. You get it?
Yeah.
This is my battery disconnect. Again, understanding, in which we will, by the end of the class, the 12 volt system controls the high voltage system. The 12 volt system closes my contactors, things like that. So, there's all kinds of things that guys bring up now. Well, Ski, what if I just disconnect the batteries? You think about it, not me. I ain't gonna answer that question. Hell yes, you're disconnected. But the reason for this class is this now, before I blind somebody. Our friends, as you know, Volkswagen owns us now. They have a company, Scania, MAN, all that stuff in Europe. We're building a new engine with them. The S13 is supposed to be a wonderful engine, has a new DEF system, and it is pretty cool. It's an integrated powertrain, on and on and on. They have been working with electric vehicles for some time. And the instructors over there says the electrical contacts, you know, the Oreos that snap shut, they will eventually weld together. They'll arc together, right? Yes. Just the older they get, so now you have power, even though you shut the 12 volt off, they welded together. Guess what? You have power where you didn't think that you had power. And that's what I'm trying to protect you against. The older the vehicle, the more chance the contactor's gonna weld together. And that's why you gotta know where the snake is in the cage. Yes, if a contactor welds together, this thing will have a shit fit.
That's in the S box?
What?
That's in the X box.
S-box, yes. But there's other contactors also in the high voltage distribution module.
Yeah.
In the high voltage distribution unit, there's contained contact. You don't know when something's gonna weld together. That's why we're saying you have to know where the snake is in the cage. You gotta follow the oh, I'm not gonna disable this time. Every time you have to disable. To your level 1, 2, or 3. You gotta look at that map and know what you're gonna work on. That's the important part of it. It's not if, it's when. Because they're gonna weld together, okay? Again, Ski's a dick. I'll be retired. You'll probably see me, okay? Teach against when those contact. That's the bottom line of the class. Keep that in your mind. That's why we're doing this. They will
Bite you.
bite you, exactly. And there really ain't too much coming back. So it'll peel you like a banana.